We have a gentleman out there in the comment section. He says, I adopted a Sephardic minhag, and my conservative synagogue adheres to an Ashkenaz nusach. My question is, should I switch back and to pray like them, or should I continue to pray as I do? As far as I know, you're supposed to follow the community, no? The shul that you're with, no?
Yeah. No, there's a notion of being tivrosh min hatzibor, to separate yourself from the community. Now, you could walk in there with your own siddur, and there aren't too many prayers. Well, conservative synagogues are different. I mean, I've been to conservative synagogues where people pop out a guitar and everyone is singing in unison. If that's the case, you should sing where they're singing. But you can have your own siddur in your back pocket, read what you have to read on your own, and that's fine. It shouldn't interfere. There's many times in Ashkenazi synagogues that Sephardi synagogues are there davening. And they're not like...
Really, the problem comes when you're leading prayers as a chazan, that you should follow what they're doing.
Right.
You shouldn't have the chutzpah to walk in, I'm going to throw down my Sephardic, prayer book, my siddur, and just, I'm going to... Half the prayers are different than...
Almost any Ashkenazi synagogues, any Orthodox synagogues, if you walk in and you look Sephardi, they'll give you a Sephardi siddur. It's not that different,
Usually there's you have Art Scroll, right? Modern Orthodox, Ashkenazim. Then you have, your Israeli Siddurim, right? And then you have your Sephardic, right? That's usually the main three that you get, no?
Well, so there's Art Scroll Ashkenaz, and there's Art Scroll Sfard, but... They have a new one now for Sephardic. No.
Okay.
No. Sfard is not Sephardi. Sfard is actually...
Oh, sorry, I misheard you.
Like a Hasidic tradition. Now, recently, I think in the last 2 years, they came out with a Sephardi art scroll. I've never seen it in real life. I've seen pictures of it. The Siddur that Sephardim uses, the Nusach is not Sephardi. It's called Edot HaMizrach. It was really a Nusach that was put together by Rav Ovadia Yosef. But what's really a Sephardi Jew? There's so many Jews from Middle Eastern countries, from this and that. But he was trying to unite them on one nusach, and even still, the Yemenites have their own nusach, and
isn't that what they say about what the Alter Rebbe did with his nusach? That it was supposed to be a universal key to prayer. That it was, no matter which nusach you prayed as, you could use a Chabad siddur, and it could sort of interchange with anything you prayed at, what you would normally grew up as.
Well, that's what Sephard is. I mean, Sephard is a mixture of Sephardi and Ashkenazi, because the Arizal, which is, as you know, Chabad, Techilat Hashem is a Nusach Ari. The Ari wasn't an Ashkenazi Jew, like he was a Sephardi Jew.
That's true, right? Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both. The Nusach Ari of Chabad is not the same as Nusach Sfard, but it's closer to Nusach Sfard than it is to Nusach Ashkenaz. Most synagogues use Nusach Ashkenaz. Most Hasidic synagogues, Chabad excluded, will use Nusach Sfard, and Sephardic synagogues will use what's called Edot HaMizrach, which is a Nusach, again, created by Rav Ovadia Yosef to unite Sephardim in Israel. But Yemenites have their own Nusach, and also Persians have their own Nusach. I think Turks also, Spanish, Portuguese. Edot HaMizrach is more for Mizrahi Jews. All Middle Eastern Jews, what they call them Sephardi. Sephardi really means Jews from Spain, but Syrian Jews and Iraqi Jews, these are more Mizrahi.
Yeah, why is that? I go to a shul where they're all Persian. Well, I shouldn't say they're all Persian. The majority of people are Persian, and they'll tell me they're proud Sephardic Jews. They're Sephardic. They want to pray from a Sephardic siddur. They want to do the Sephardic customs, and it's funny that one day the Rav argued with one of the guys. They're like, you understand that you're not a real Sephardic Jew, right? You're Sephardic Jews from Spain. It's like, what is it that makes them think that they're connected to Sephardic traditions? Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
What's the quick and easy answer for that?
No, Edot HaMizrach. Maybe they're Israeli and they're used to, because Israel will lump you into two categories usually. Oh,
because they're in Israel and okay.
They're white Sephardi Jews also, but if they see a white guy, they automatically think he's Ashkenazi. And there's some dark Hungarian Jews that are technically Ashkenazi, and
that's just a weird thing. I don't know why that is like that. That's weird.
Do what everyone else does. in terms of prayer. I mean, prayer is very fluid, with the exception, I think it's the first two brachas and the last two brachas that are sort of set in stone. Everything else is improvised. It was improvised by the Gaonim. The two heads of the yeshivas in Bovel, they came up with the structure of not just a Siddur, but of the Haggadah. There's a lot of things that are not set in stone, that if you wanted to create your own Siddur, following the rules that appear in the Talmud, because the Talmud doesn't give you all the text for the Siddurs we have nowadays. A lot of it is just tradition. For us to be redeemed in exile, there has to be unity. I mean, God's not going to redeem one person to the land of Israel. He's going to redeem the nation to the land of Israel. This is why I think it's important to believe in an oral law, because that's what's going to keep you united. If everyone was meant to just study the Torah as it appears, you're never going to keep your standing as a nation, because everyone's going to interpret things differently. The reason we have a halakha is to help us apply and interpret ceremonial law. That's what unites us. Keeping Shabbat, keeping Yom Kippur on the same day in the same manner. Now, this is not possible if you're just interpreting the Torah on your own. So many verses are ambiguous.
I think last week when I was present, I had not defined my terms as far as oral Torah and written Torah.
And do you want me to define it?
I still at this point cannot understand why reading the, every day a daf yami a day, why I should be concerned about whether or not I can lift the candelabra while it's lit or not on Shabbat. I mean, I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm converted to Judaism. I took upon myself to take the commandments of the Torah. I believe in the God of Israel. I'm not a Noahide, but I am not. I'm not understanding the need for oral Torah when there's so much debate in the Talmud itself.
Because people don't understand oral Torah just as it appears in the Talmud. No one walks around with a Talmud under their arm trying to decipher what oral Torah is. And when people study Daf Yomi, they do it as an exercise to help them think sharper and debate, not to find out what the law is. So we know what the law is because it's been.
Where do you find the law? I'm trying to. I haven't found any.
You have to go to a codification of law. For example, the Mishnah Torah is all the laws that appear in the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Sifra, the Sifri, the Mehilta, the Tosaftot, in 14 volumes. He extracted the laws from all the folklore, from all the legends, from all the arguments, and only gave you the laws that are applicable. And he split it up by categories. That means if Hanukkah, the Rambam. If Hanukkah is rolling up, you're going to look up the section of Hanukkah. If Pesach's coming up, you're going to look up the section for Pesach, and it's going to be very understandable. And
this is where I'm getting my confusion. Then I'm confusing what I'm doing every day by reading a page a day of Talmud from the codification at Rambam or Rambam?
Rambam with an M at the end.
Okay, that Rambam has given.
Right. So you shouldn't be doing Daf Yomi. There's something called Mishnah Torah Yomi. They have the numeration on Chabad.org, and they'll even give you the sections to read every day.
I just actually posted that in the side chat, the Chabad version of that in the side chat if you want to take a look.
So
is it in English?
In English.
In English and Hebrew, yes.
And how many years will it take you to go through that?
If you do one chapter a day, Mishnah Torah Yomi, not Daf Yomi, because Daf just means page. But in Mishnah Torah Yomi, it's one chapter a day. It'll take you 3 years, or 3 chapters a day will take you 1 year.
One chapter will take you 3 years.
Right.
See, now somebody, now I learned something today. See? Last week you probably would have went away thinking I was some kind of heretic.
No, it's fine.
I don't have this kind of direction. So this is kind of like a breath of fresh air to me, because I've been doing Daf Yomi, and it's just, to me,
it's very confusing.
It's foolishness.
If you study the Mishnah Torah in and out, you basically would have mastered Judaism, more or less, because it covers everything.
I'm going to change it. I'm going to look it up while you're talking. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I
website.
Post the link to the Mishnah Torah in the side chat in this group here. To just click the bottom where the chat window is, and it'll open up. And
I see it now.
Or just go to YouTube and just type in daily Mishnah Torah, and then
I got
Chabad will
it
give you a
now.
link every day with that portion. There's even a class that they offer by a Chabad rabbi who will teach you that section. It's just, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Do this, don't do that, and that's it.
Is he the one that one time before I converted, I looked at the Chabad website had a different negative and positive commandment a day that was sent in
Also,
my mailbox. Is
so
that
that's also
similar?
the Rambam, right? So that's Sefer Mitzvot. So Sefer Mitzvot goes through the commandments that appear in the Torah and their explanation, but they don't deal necessarily with the oral law, because many commandments in the oral law aren't interpretations from the Torah, but many of them are just rabbinical commands that they created, like lighting Hanukkah candles or like hearing the Megillah on Purim.
That's
These are
Sefer
rabbinic-
HaMitzvah.
Sefer Mitzvot is the enumeration of the 613 commandments.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's also
Okay.
important to learn too.
So even though I've been Jewish for like 7 years, I feel like I'm beginning all over again because I'm wasting my time with the Daf Yomi.
The Daf Yomi,
It's not a waste of time, but for me it is.
but for the average person,
mean-
it's a waste of time. It's because you're not there to learn anything necessarily, because you're not going to be able to know what the final ruling is. You're going to hear so many different ideas, and the bulk of it is
Mhm.
not law. The bulk of it are these statements and stories that have
Mhm.
nothing to do with the law. So this is why we have codifications. Now, there's another codification, but it's not complete. The Shulchan Aruch is another. It's more of a compilation of Jewish law that's not complete, but it uses a lot of the Rambam. So there's some people who go by that, but that code or that compilation only deals with laws that we do today, and it doesn't include laws from other sources of law like Talmud Yerushalmi. I think it only uses Talmud Bavli. If you master Mishnah Torah and master the 5 books of Moses, then you've pretty much mastered Judaism. Pretty much, just because there's other things that you will graduate to later. But that's
Absolutely.
like you would know more than 99% of all the rabbis.
That's a very good starting point then, this Rambam's Mishnah
Even
Torah.
ending point too. Master Mishnah Torah, and you will know more than 99.9% of all the rabbis.
That's actually a really good statement. And welcome back to Caleb. What's going on? How's your evening?